I've recently visited many places. We all talked about Indian reservations. In the video, these are the houses in an Indian reservation that I filmed on the fly. They are scattered. They aren't very densely arranged. Indian reservations are independent political entities on the same level as states, but these administrative regions are still part of the state's territories. In these areas, power is delegated by the federal or state governments to Native Americans. Native Americans. Tribal trust lands are a unique administrative division for America's native peoples, because Native American tribes have limited tribal sovereignty. The laws on reservations differ from those in the surrounding areas. These laws may allow the area to set up casinos like Las Vegas to attract tourists. Then, the way their government is formed also reflects tribal characteristics. Most reservations were established by the federal government, but later, administrative authority is handed back to the indigenous people. These Native American tribes enjoy certain legal immunities, but sometimes these immunities are abused because they are overseen by the federal government. However, the land still belongs to the state. For example, the Navajo mentioned earlier. Their land is located within Arizona. But if they engage in any suspicious activities, and the state government notices, it becomes very difficult to investigate, because it does not fall under state jurisdiction. Next, let's talk about how, in modern American society, Native Americans live. Out of more than 5 million Native Americans in the U.S., about 30% live on tribal lands. The conditions on reservations can be described as akin to those of the Third World. Due to a lack of job opportunities, the economy suffers. Many families are overcrowded. They have to rely solely on social assistance. In some reservations, among every 10 adults, as many as 4 to 8 may be unemployed. Among the employed Native Americans, many earn incomes below the poverty level, so their lives are quite challenging. Then, tribes and the federal government are the largest employers on reservations. However, these two institutions do not offer enough job opportunities. In such cases, the head of some households is forced to leave the reservation to find work. Meanwhile, grandparents take on the responsibility of raising their grandchildren, simply to survive. Extended families pool their meager resources to meet their most basic needs. Such blended families are very common on reservations, just like some families in China. But in the broader context of America, such blended families are rare. Typically, grandparents do not take care of grandchildren. In terms of housing, Indian reservations also face a housing crisis, with many people even being homeless. Some live in overly crowded conditions. Less than 50% of the housing is connected to public sewer systems. Given the severe budget constraints on reservations, compared to food and transportation, public utilities are considered a luxury. In terms of health, the average life expectancy of Native Americans has improved, but it still lags behind that of other Americans. For many years, Native Americans have faced immense pressure from shifting from traditional lifestyles to Western ways, which has significantly affected their health. Now, more than 50% of Native Americans rely on Indian health services for their health care. Overall, life for Native Americans in the U.S. is extremely challenging for many tribes. Native Americans were driven from the east to the barren west, forced to live, and Indian reservations are mostly located in very remote areas, not suitable for agricultural development. So many people would find it hard to be self-sufficient because of its remote location, and no one would invest in industrial development because their lands are scattered and fragmented. Their sizes vary. Most tribes also cannot obtain large plots of land for development. This severely limits the development of Native Americans. Anyone passing by Native American reservations knows that the area is extremely remote because the local mobile signal is very weak. Even in towns, it's only in densely populated areas where you can barely receive a signal. A little detour from the main street, and you'll end up with no signal. Although the U.S. federal government is willing to allocate funds for medical, education, housing, and other system developments to provide support, their living conditions still lag behind mainstream American society. Finally, what I want to say is that in fact, Native Americans prefer to be called American Indigenous people